Now, this is the test review for 5.2, and this is going to be on parallel and perpendicular lines, and this is the one where you really have to pay attention to the question to see what we're actually looking at. And the key facts for this is questions that have parallel lines have the same slope, and ones that have perpendicular slopes, you have to flip it and you have to change the sign. Or to use the correct terminology, you have to do the negative reciprocal of the slope. So y equals 3x minus 7. The slope is just simply the number in front of the x when it's in slope-intercept form. So the slope would just be 3 for this one. I am given a coordinate passes through, so I'm going to label that as x1 and y1. And I'm just going to follow the same 4 steps that I did in section 5.1. Write out the formula, plug in each of these numbers in turn, y1, the slope, and also x1. Distribute here, and on the last step, to make it say y equals, we're just going to add 1 to both sides, and negative 12 plus 1 will give me negative 11. Our other question also says parallel, so the slope of y equals 1 half x minus 3 is just going to be 1 half. Label my coordinate, and then follow those 4 steps. Write out the formula, substitute in the numbers, being particularly careful with this one. When we subtract negative 2, it gives us a positive 2. And when we distribute here, 1 half times x, 1 half times negative 6. And on our last step, we're just going to bring this positive 2 to the other side by taking away 2 from both sides. And negative 3 take away 2 gives us negative 5, and then we are finished. So very similar to what we did in 5.1. And if you're confused over these steps, you should go back and watch the video for 5.1. The last 2 questions are all based on perpendicular. So when we see the word perpendicular, we know we have those 2 steps to follow. So the slope of this one to begin with is 1 half, because this is in slope-intercept form, the number in front of the x. So when we're doing perpendicular, we have to flip this number, and we have to change the sign. And negative 2 over 1 is just negative 2. And then once we have our slope and we have our point, we're just going to follow those same 4 steps that we covered in 5.1. Perpendicular to 5x minus 12, that means the slope is 5. If you have a single number, to try and flip this, it's often easier just to put this over 1, because 5 divided by 1 is 5. And when we flip that, we get 1 over 5. And once again, we're going to change the sign of this, so we're going to make it negative 1/5. Label your coordinate, and then follow those same steps. Write out the formula, substitute in the numbers, being particularly careful again when we're subtracting negative 10, because those 2 negatives will make a positive. Distribute throughout here, so negative 1/5 times 10 is going to give us negative 2. And then on our last step, we're going to add 8 to both sides to bring this and make it just say y equals. Most of the steps here really are the section from 5.1. So once again, if you're not very comfortable with those 4 steps, go back and look at the pretest for 5.1 as well.